Hey everybody, I was going to show you a few details about the Hvalsoe 18. This is my Hvalsoe 18, launched in 2016. I think the first detail I was going to show was the trailer. The boat really only sits on 3 points. It sits here aft on this cleat, and then through the rocker along the keel it sits flat, and then forward snugs up against a small cleat. There are no bunks on this flatbed trailer. Instead, what I use are what I guess you would call a strut. I have one on each side. So when cinched down, the boat sits pretty flat. I've never put any bunks on my little boat trailers. I've seen, I volunteered at the Center for Wooden Boats for a number of years, and I would see the boats in their storage sitting on bunks. And they would just be destroyed over time because it'd be point loaded. Or if you had rollers underneath a little boat like this, it's not great. So the second thing that I want to show are the bulkheads. It says 2 bulkheads. It has one up here at station 3, one back here at station 9. And this is the airtight compartment, or not quite airtight compartment, that I use for storage. Who knows what's in there? I put all my gear in here, forward and aft. And we do capsize tests every year or two. And one thing that I do find is the boat tends to float, below the center line, which puts a lot of pressure on these hatches. And as water hits these hatches and puts pressure on them, it actually seals them up a little bit better. So you can see I have 2 of them here. And then here's one forward. The main, there is an access that I've cut in through the bulkhead, but I've through bolted and bedded that in dolphinite years ago, and I've never popped it open. But if I needed to get in there, I could. The fact is I can get through, I can get to most everything this way. Hey, there's my life jacket. I was actually curious about that. So the second thing that I was going to show was the tiller tamer. I have a push-pull tiller with a pop-up rudder. And you need a way to get your hands off the tiller sometimes and to lock it in for a moment. So I have this little saddle, and I have a little bronze screw where I've ground the head off of it and then screwed it down in there, and then that will index, see if you can see this, it's tough to see, let's try this, to a comb that I created that's underneath there. That's a piece of bronze, flat bronze stock, and over the top of it I put a little screw to index where the middle of it is. So as you're sailing along, you need to trim up, you can just sit it in there. When the weather really pipes up, I tend to just hold on to the tiller. The very last thing that I was going to show was the hinge here in the main thwart. So for structure, you're going to see that I have a bulkhead up forward. I have a laminated Alaska yellow cedar frame here. I laminated it outside the boat and then cleaned it up and then jogged it, and then went ahead and fastened from the outside through. This one at station, I think 4, runs all the way across. And then I have another one here that I added in. And this one's actually split. This is, I don't know if you call it a widow or a broken frame, but it stops at the centerboard case or the trunk and then runs across. So what you have here is a thwart that gives me, when opened, a nice bunk of about 9 feet. And since I'm only 5'9", I think we're doing pretty good with a 9-foot bunk. And so I have these 2 table hinges. You can purchase these stainless steel. I think that James McMullen cast these and gave these to me years ago, and I put them into this boat. But the way it works, I have made a couple of, I don't know what you call these exactly. They're little bolts with handles. Oops, sorry. Let's try this again. I'll come in from the other side. Little bolts with handles you can, you know, end of the day, I want to pop the Thwart open, chill out. I'll do this. Filters are cold. And, you know, they're all snugged up. It comes right up. And so I'll show you how this works. So here's what I made. This is a piece of 3/16 stainless. I'm guessing that's 3/8. Runs all the way through this toggle. Got a little washer down at the bottom, nut at the bottom. And did I get them both? Yes. And they go into, wow, that's lovely craftsmanship. Into inserts. One went right in there. This is Paduke. And the other one I think I had to cast in. And it looks like I need to go back and clean it up quite a bit. It's cracked. I have through bolted these before. You can tell that I had drilled through it once and done that with a little bolt that looks kind of like this, like a carriage bolt. But in the end, I found this has worked great, and I've had it like this for years. So this table hinge allows you to take this and fold it all the way back. The spar's in the way, so you can't get it out of the way. But in essence, that's the way it works. And there's really no play on that side. Once locked in, you can tell that I'm bolting through the Paduke. I think, yeah, I did back, I don't know if you can see this, I did back this up with some aluminum underneath there. Probably unnecessary, but I had that on Big Food's main rowing thwart that I'd cut, and it just seemed like a good idea. So putting it back together, I have no idea if I can do this like this. I'll just set the phone down for a second. So each morning's ritual would be like this. You're putting the thing back together. So as you screw it tight, it snugs down. I don't crank on them too hard, but I mean, it is locked in there. There's no play. I jump up and down on this thing, I walk on it, I sit on it, I row on it for hours, and there's really no issue. I mean, you can see where I made the cut on each end. A little bit of a leap of faith, but get out your saw and just get it done. That's all I can say. So I think that's it for details that I was going to show.